Okay, I have a list of some square roots here. We are going to go ahead and find the exact answers and simplify these. So let's start off with the first one, 120. We're going to look for 120 on the perfect square side. When we're working with square roots, I highly suggest making a table like this. Keep it on the side, keep it on the back of a binder, keep it on a separate sheet of paper. And again, just a reminder to make this type of table on the side of your page or test or scratch sheet of paper, star tests, final exam, y equals x squared, go to the table, list it all the way down. I doubt you'd have to do much more than 20 squared, which is 400. So that's where I stopped here, and I made sure all these are less than that. If your number's bigger than that, you're going to have to make a longer table or just look inside the table and follow it inside your calculator if you don't want to write it down. But you can always find 120 in the calculator and work this way. But since we're going to use the calculator to do our division, I find it a lot simpler for myself to just write the list of perfect squares and their square roots on my paper. So let's start with 120. 120 is going to fall right here. It's going to fall right before 121. So I'm going to start 11. Quit the calculator. We have what, 120? 120 divided by 100. That doesn't work. Then we have 120 divided by 81. That doesn't work, of course. 120 divided by 64. That doesn't work. Then we have 120 divided by 49. That doesn't work. 120 divided by what did I do fast for you? 36. That doesn't work. 120 divided by 25. That doesn't work. And then 120 divided by 16. That still doesn't work. 120 divided by 9. That doesn't work. 120 divided by 4. Oh, that works. So I got, right here, I got 4. So I'm going to take that 4 and I'm going to say the square root of 4 times, again, we're writing this one first. The one I find in my perfect squares, I write first. The square root of 4 times the square root of 30 is the same as the square root of 120. Square root of 4 right here is 2. That means the square root of 120, when I simplify it, is 2 the square root of 30. I can't simplify it more than that. Let's do the next example. Square root of 288. 288 falls way down here, all the way down here, almost to 289. Now, last time we had to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 before we found the answer. If it's not a perfect square, what I typically suggest is going about halfway in between. Half of 289 is about 150. So I would suggest starting at 144. Because the smallest number you could find would be 2. You multiply it by 2, and we'll do one of those later. So let's just start about halfway in between 250 and 0, which is about 150. So we're going to start with 144. What are we doing? 288. 288 divided by, what did we say, 144? Oh, and that's 2. So this right here is my perfect square I'm going to use. So I start with 144, square root of 144, times the square root of 2. That's the can't see that. 144 times the square root of 2. That's the same thing as the square root of 288. Now, again, just so we're clear, the reason I started about halfway in between is because I know these numbers here won't divide evenly. It's either going to be half or bigger or lower. If it's not a perfect square, of course. Square root of 144 is 12. 12 times square root of 2. So it's simply 12 square root of 2 is my exact answer when I simplify it. Let's go ahead and look at the next one. Next one I have is 72. 72 would fall right about here, between 64 and 81. Half of 72 is about 35-ish. I'm going to start and check 36. So 72 divided by 36. Hey, that one works right there. So we're going to use 36. Square root of 36 times, and I used what numbers in my calculator? These 36 times 2 is my 72. Square root of 2. So we have 6 times the square root of 2. 6 the square root of 2 is my exact answer. Let's go ahead and try 80 now. 80 is going to fall somewhere in this general area right here, between 64 and 81. Let's go about halfway. Halfway between 80, less than this one, so let's just start here. So 80 divided by 36, no. 80 divided by 25, no. 80 divided by 16, and that's what it is. It is 16. So we start off with my square root of 16, and we multiply that by what's in the calculator. We get a 5, square root of 5. So the square root of 16 is 4, times the square root of 5. So we have 4 to the square root of 5. Let's go ahead and do one more example. Let's go ahead, let's look at 104 down here. Square root of 104. Find it's going to be somewhere in this general area. It's not a perfect square, so let's go about halfway. Let's go to 49, even though I know that's not it. Where am I at? 49. So 104 divided by 49. Not going to happen. 104 divided by 36. No. 104 divided by 25. No. 104 divided by 16. Nope. 104 divided by 9 is not going to work. 104 divided by, last option is 4. We get 26. So I'm going to list that 4 first. I got this as my 1 times, and the calculator told me 26 times 4 is 104. Square root of 26, that is 2 times the square root of 26, and so we have 2 square root of 26. Just for the fun of it, let's go ahead and do one more and call it quits. Let's look at 392. 392 falls way over here, so let's start somewhere around 200. So we're going to start at 196. So 392 divided by 196. Oh, there we go. We nailed it. First one. So that's another one that starts with a 2. So we have square root of 196 times square root of 2. Square root of 196 is 14. 14 square root of 2. As you can see, I kind of skipped this step in there because there's not really a step here. Just simplifying, making it a little bit easier to read for us. There we go, 14 the square root of 2.